Hi everyone. I hope you're all having an amazing day today. And I'm quite excited because our guest today is someone I can really relate with in terms of mindfulness and definitely learning how to adapt to these challenging times. So let me just please send her an invite. I'm very excited to introduce to you Niña Defensor. She's quite an amazing woman because she's obviously been through a lot and she was able to triumph all of that by, really focusing on herself and practicing mindful meditation and art. So I'm very much hello Niña.
Hey!
Thank you for coming to see me here.
We've come a long way, huh?
For those living in condominiums or in small places, it can play a lot of tricks in your mind. So,
Oh yeah, like I went through hell and shit when this whole thing started, and I was alone now.
I knew Niña all the way back in my fashion designing days. She was such an amazing model. She helped me make my clothes look better. So she modeled, and then also I went to her to help get my eyebrows fixed, and now they look more. So Niña does cosmetic tattoos, and now she makes the most amazing art. We'll get to that in a while, but her art just looks so realistic. If for those of you who are living in the city and you want to get the beach vibe, please check out her Instagram page. You'll see it on her link. But when you see her art, it really takes you to the ocean. You become with. You become one. You become an island person, island girl, and island boy. So it's it would be such an amazing, relaxing piece to look at. So
but yeah, thank you so much.
I understand that you started I don't know if you started meditating only during this pandemic, but clearly it has helped you a lot. Before we get to your journey, so that we can help other people as well, what would be your advice to those who are still skeptic about meditating, those who are very active in their lifestyles? They feel like being productive and working is the key to being happy. And they're stubborn about being still and being quiet and meditating. What would be your first advice to them?
With mindfulness and meditation, that it's something you can't actually force on anyone. It's everybody's personal journey. Like I started with mine 4 years ago. And when that happened, I was in rock bottom talaga. I was so miserable. I was depressed. I was angry. I was a cynical person. But I always knew I wanted to heal. With people, to be able to encourage anybody to get into mindfulness or meditation, they have to have the intention and the purpose to transform or heal. You know what I mean? It's something you have to embody to be able to influence. Like you just messaged me one day about this, and it's because I always post content about it, right? But I never told you to actually, hey, do this, meditate with me, attend my class or something like that, right? It's energy, right? Everything is energy, and once you're just sincere in putting your energy out there, then the people who are meant to experience that journey will follow. A person can be super skeptic and such a workaholic, like I was. I was exactly that person. And eventually I found my way through meditation, because in Tagalog, in Tagalog, kailangan mo nang makakapitan, right? Like, sometimes we lose hope, and there comes a time when tangible things just don't make the cut anymore. And with meditation, it's exactly just taking a step back and taking a breath.
So, if you think about it, meditation is quite amazing because, number one, it's free. I actually never told anyone this, but my mom had a stroke last New Year's Eve, and she is just the most stubborn person. She does not want to meditate even after her stroke. But what I did to push her was I just flooded her. It's not the best advice, but I flooded her messenger inbox with all these Deepak Chopra, Boho Beautiful, and she just eventually tried one that was 5 minutes, and she said, "Yeah, let's do this, rock and roll."
Unless you were in rehab or in a school or it was a life and death situation and you begged somebody, right?
Yeah.
But meditation is mindful breathing, right? It's exactly what we do to survive. Like, how do we go about our day? We breathe, but the way that we do it is, it's called shallow breathing. We
Right.
breathe shallowly just to get by, to survive. But the capabilities and the power that the power of breath has is limitless in terms of attracting only the best in life and attracting the best health there is, for yourself.
Whole world meditated, I don't think. I mean, oh wow, there would be less people annoyed at traffic.
Of course, yeah.
There would be less,
I think
cursing.
what I need to define is really the mother umbrella of it all. It's called mindfulness, right? Because that's why you call it mindful meditation. So mindfulness it's the mental state that we achieve when we focus all our attention on the present moment, and we also like acknowledge and accept all the feelings, all the thoughts, even the bodily sensations and the environment, and we just fully accept it. So when you say my how to encourage people to practice mindfulness or mindfulness meditation.
Would you invite them online or have a...
Yes, of course, but there are things that you can do within reach that will already start your journey, like having a gratitude journal or a manifestation journal. This is something that I do all day. Every day I have it with me wherever I go, and it's something that I write in the moment I wake up and before I go to bed. Because when you do that, you're able to just fully focus on how you feel about your day. How you're going to feel. Yes, exactly, right? And since it's a gratitude journal, you're thanking the present moment and thanking the day, thanking the universe, whatever, and putting that energy into your notebook.
I already feel good now. Just thinking about the whole gratitude. Oh, I'm thankful I had a mango shake this morning. It's like, it's just, that's a very
that's
good
exactly,
suggestion.
that's it. That's being mindful and just appreciating anything that comes your way and just feeling gratitude, but also detached to any outcome. Practicing detachment is one thing, and it's some people have like a negative connotation when it comes to the word detachment, right? Kasi parang it's not turning a blind eye necessarily, it's not being cold about anything, but it's accepting that whatever comes your way or whatever anybody tells you, it's a good thing if you get the results that you originally wanted. If not, then it's the universe telling you that it's also good. You dodged a bullet right there. But going out in nature is another mindfulness practice, to just ground yourself and appreciate the nature. Remember when we go on vacations, diba? We go to the beach, we go island hopping or go to the mountains. We always breathe the air in. Yeah. And we always silently appreciate it, right? But we most of the time don't remember it. But we do it. We thank the environment every time we go somewhere out of the city on vacation. We always like really pay attention to how salty the ocean smells, like the feeling of the sand in our feet, right? That's mindfulness and really just being hyper aware of everything. Another thing is to just do body scans. You can do this every day. You can lie down on your bed, sit down, close your eyes, do mindful breathing, pay attention to your breathing, and just imagine all your limbs, all your entire body from your crown to your toes, just one by one. Try to feel them, right? What as you're closing your eyes and just breathing. And that's one way to find your center and to ground yourself. And before you know it, you're already meditating. Sometimes people don't even know they're meditating. Like when they're
Right.
working out, that's active meditation. When they're walking and thinking and just letting their
Right.
thoughts flow, that's meditation as well.
Right.
Right?
So
So,
to sum it up, the first one is to have a gratitude journal, or at least, think
mm,
about, like, before you sleep, or maybe when you wake up, think about all the things you're grateful for. The
mhm.
second one is to spend time more with Mother Nature, because
Yeah.
we all know that the frequency naturally is just up there, so nature's good. And the third one is to lay down and breathe, catch your breath. So a lot of
Do a
thoughts
body
can,
scan. Yeah.
or body scan. How
And
long would
just
you
really appreciate every single part of your body and try to feel it, but also call it out, right? Like, um, your
my
eyebrows.
my
Close your
ears?
eyes, feel your eyebrows. Thank your eyes for being able to see the world. Thank your nose for being able to breathe in oxygen. Thank your lips, your mouth for being able to taste amazing food and to be able to verbalize beautiful sentences and stuff like that. And so on and so forth. Yeah.
I love those three advices because they're very doable. It's easy to reach. Now, I have to thank you again for coming live with me now and being able to share a lot of personal things, because the next
Of
question I'm
course.
about to ask might be a bit personal. You
Go
mentioned that
lang.
you started meditating 4 years ago,
Yeah.
and my thoughts are, wow, what happened to you? Did you experience something that just, yeah, you couldn't find any other solution but to go within and solve that?
Yeah.
Other people will drink or party, but with
Yeah.
you decided to find your deeper self. So what happened 4 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, like before anybody goes through a spiritual awakening, you're definitely in rock bottom first, right? It's very rare for someone to be like extremely happy and content and then all of a sudden go through a spiritual awakening like, oh my god, I'm woke, right? It's uncommon. So obviously then I was in a very dark place. I was grieving my father's death. I was in a very tumultuous and toxic relationship, and those two things were just so hard for me to balance. And when you can't receive, or when you're unable to grasp for air or to seek support from the people around you because of your current environment or circumstance, you have to go within, right? So that's how it started. It came intuitively. It wasn't something that I researched. It was something that just came to mind and I just followed it. And
Okay, wow.
then yeah,
Yeah,
it's
wow.
that's why your intuition is very important, and it's really heightened when you practice every day. But it's something na parang I all of a sudden wanted to do. And before I knew it, I was signing up for a meditation course.
Right.
It
Oh,
started out as a 3-day meditation course, and then I started taking more and more meditation courses
right.
until today. Like, I haven't missed one meditation since the very first day that I started the journey.
Is it because you realize that nobody will ever truly understand you except yourself?
Yes,
And so,
exactly.
no matter how many shoulders you had to cry on, they could never take away the pain that you were feeling. It's only you and yourself that
Yeah,
will be able to purify your soul
yeah.
once again.
And when you try, or when you're on the journey to mastering your breath, you start to really realize and physically manifest the strength and the power of this. You start
Right.
receiving like the best kinds of people and start entering your life.
Wow. Yeah.
The most amazing opportunities also start landing on your lap and stuff like that. And you'll realize the only thing that I changed was my grounding, was me centering myself through mindfulness and meditation.
So your whole
And
world changed, but
totally 180.
yeah.
180 change talaga. Yeah. Even the way I look, diba? People are like, your energy is so different from like 5 years ago, 4 years ago. I get that every week.
Well, the
You
family
are
is
who you hang out with, and that's the truth. So at that time, when I was still like a hot mess and healing and everything, I was miserable. I was depressed. I was always thinking of the worst thing that can happen because that's what I was taught by my parents and my grandparents and stuff like that.
well, even on the news, they talk about
Yeah,
all
like the
the
worst thing that
tragic
can
things.
happen.
When you
So
watch the
like
news, yeah,
society
yeah.
and the older generation taught me to parang
Worry, stress.
anticipate things negatively, and that's so unhealthy. And because of that, I manifested like
The same things.
toxic
Oh,
relationships,
oh,
toxic friends,
oh my
toxic
goodness.
people, toxic work environments. And as soon as I made the decision to step back, to detox my life and make an overhaul talaga, then that's when everything changed in one day. I kid you not talaga. In one day, everything changed.
So the thing is, when we talk about detoxifying, we're not talking about the use of substances. We're not talking about
No,
we're
it's about setting boundaries. Setting boundaries also equates to you like detaching yourself from things, people, and places that no longer serve you.
you know what, I'm not feeling so great today. I want to make a nice smoothie for myself that will nurture my
Yeah,
body. So that can also be
yeah.
another sign of
Setting
detoxifying.
boundaries for yourself is like a lifestyle change, a new diet, right? That you have to convert into a new lifestyle. It could also be as simple as I'm not going to respond to a late work night text. I'll
Yeah,
respond tomorrow now because that's also a common bad habit, right?
it is. And you're
And
not
because
thinking
of
that well at night as well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You need to be
And it's
fresh.
just you have to also teach your peers how to treat you. So you
Right.
have to set boundaries for yourself so that because that means you respect yourself. And if you respect yourself, then other people will respect you also.
Do you think that schools should actually teach meditation? Because there are a lot of things that we're missing out in schools. I mean, I'm not from the
Yeah.
education department, but I feel like we're missing out a huge chunk. Aside from meditation, there's also sustainability, but I feel like we're just
Mm,
focusing on the usual stuff. But
yeah.
things to really benefit our relationships and ourselves. Do
Yeah.
you think meditation should be taught, and at what age though? Because being a teenager, you have a lot of distractions.
There are most of the schools in Japan and in Thailand, they teach meditation. It's part of their curriculum, right? Here, I've heard of some one or two progressive schools that incorporate this practice, but that's actually my end goal, like to set up like a meditation school for the youth because
Yeah.
my daughter, she's 4 years old. She meditates with me.
Luna, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And
Oh, and
it
yeah.
wasn't something forced. It's because she just sees me every day, and by mirroring, by influence, and by energy sharing, she does the same thing when I'm there.
Yeah.
And it caught me by surprise, to be honest. Like I was so shocked that she would start meditating with me. At first it began as like just mirroring, diba?
At four
And then
years
she would
old.
yeah.
Wow. Can you believe?
It started she started meditating with me during this pandemic because all of a sudden we're stuck with each other 24/7, diba? So I needed to make myself to maintain my sanity. And so I had to like work out and meditate, and she would be there, she would see me until later on she just caught on.
You have a life to kind of nurture, which is Luna, and she's
Mm.
seeing you meditate, she's seeing you working out, and
Yeah.
imagine when she gets a bit older, she has the power to manifest a lot of her
Yeah.
desires easily.
And I'm already teaching her now pala. I'm already even if let's say she doesn't fully understand what I tell her when I say you are the creator of your own reality. You can manifest anything you want, anything you feel, and your thoughts will translate into your actions. I just keep repeating it, but she sees the definition through me. And because of that, that's her compassion training. Eh. Because of that, she's such a compassionate little girl. Like
Oh
she's so mindful. She'll every night she asks me, "Mom, are you happy?" We have matching gratitude
my
journals.
God.
And but syempre now she'll draw on it. But when what she draws on it is the both of us in stick figure, and she always writes
Oh,
the word mom
well,
every page.
I know you have an Instagram page called
Badass Mama PH,
Badass
yeah.
Mama PH.
Yeah, yeah.
But in terms of motherhood, like these are
Mm-hmm.
such amazing activities that any parent, whether mother or a father, I feel like they should be doing this at home as well because a lot of kids are on their iPad or Netflix. But
Mm-hmm.
spending that one-on-one time with no gadgets around, maybe just for music, but having the
Mm-hmm.
compassionate questions and the gratitude journal, it's really
Yeah.
amazing.
Do this thing where we have like our own pretend podcast together.
Oh,
And we call it the Nina and Luna show.
I mean, seeing a young person, even a 4-year-old, it kind of reminds you to be youthful again because sometimes we're so coped up with work, with creating our
Mm-hmm.
own checklist. But like when you see a cute little girl just having her own podcast, it just reminds you to like, okay, wait a minute. I was born with no problems. Why am I creating my own problems? It's just
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
it's like
And so
crazy.
we always make it a point to be as goofy as possible. You know, we're always just playing, we're always talking, and we're very madaldal. She's
I
gonna be
mean,
the most madaldal person ever.
well, I think you've already trained her to be in front of cameras. So
Yes.
and we're already in that stage where everything is online, and if you're not
Mhm.
online, or at least make yourself or your brand present online, then you're essentially, I don't want to say dead to the world, but yeah, you're essentially not there. So Luna has a lot of steps ahead in terms of being
Mhm.
comfortable. And so yeah, I guess you've trained her well. So from the digital world, to meditating, to I guess she works out with you a little bit when you dance
Yeah,
together.
we have fitness videos together, but
Oh
the most of all, I'm just trying to raise a queen, you know, like to be somebody to be who will be able to handle her stress, the heartbreaks, and to know that she can turn to her breath as opposed to like other things, substances, bad people. And that's what I'm just trying to really ingrain in her, that you can, as early as now, just attract good. And even if you fail, that's okay. Failure is good. I always tell her or remind her what's good, what's right, and what's wrong. If she makes a mistake, of course, she's a child. She will go against you. She will rebel. Then she learns her lessons. But kunyari here at home, when she opens the fridge and she wants to play with the eggs, I allow her.
and hopefully she will attract good and positive energy. Let's move on to your artwork because your art on its own, just looking at it, exudes so much positivity. The blues and just the water and just the shores washing on the sand. Would you be able to tell us what kind of art it is? Because I've been wanting to
Well, I
find
do
out.
abstract art, right? I mean, I have one here beside me.
I've been
This
looking
is
at.
not an ocean piece. This is actually more of like a cosmic piece. It was inspired by my best friend who passed away during the pandemic
Oh,
in the US.
okay.
But what I do, I it's called mindful art because I incorporate mindfulness into every single thing that I do. And it's basically just intuitive. It's intuitive painting. So I
Wow.
never know. I have a grasp or a concept, but I never know how it's exactly going to turn out. That's why there's only one of a kind of my
Okay.
pieces every single time.
So these start with a feeling and not the thought. So I mean, if you, how does it work? Like,
I always start with a feeling because before I even paint, I meditate. And
okay,
I don't
wow,
stop or I don't get up or do anything until I feel happier or feel better.
right. So sorry, just a quick question back to meditation. What kind of meditation did you start with, and what are you
It,
practicing now?
mindful meditation.
Okay, and
Yeah.
is that the
So
same as metta meditation, or
you
well,
mindful meditation is really taking in everything in your present
okay,
and just being grateful for it, accepting it, not not judging it in any way. And that's how I apply it with my art. If for some people, if they have drip somewhere they're not supposed to be dripping, then it's considered like a mistake that they have to erase.
Right.
I consider no mistakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is like
So
good life as
if
well.
something happens that wasn't supposed to happen from based on my concept, then I always just accept it and go with the flow. Like then it's meant to be this way.
So you're
That's
saying the
it.
mistake was meant to happen
Yeah. Yeah.
to create
Like
something
it
better.
wasn't really a mistake, you know.
You're
Yeah.
meant to go to that direction. It wasn't a mistake.
Yeah.
It was just another path for you to
Yeah, because I
follow
listen
through.
to intuition. I believe in listening to your intuition, to your gut feeling, and that's what I do talaga on a daily basis. Even when it comes to Starbucks. Sometimes I'll change up my order and I'll just listen to my intuition and order that way. Yeah.
What kind of art material do you use? Is it watercolor or it doesn't?
No, it's mixed media. This is it's epoxy and acrylic.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
How long does it
resin.
take? Oh, it seems
It
like it takes days or weeks or
yeah.
how long?
It can take from 48 hours to an entire week to cure, depending on the size, depending on the amount of resin or epoxy that you use.
And so this is
Yeah.
very interesting when you have a client to commission you to do art. Do they
Mhm.
tell you, okay, just listen to yourself and surprise me? Because
Most
I know
of the
there-
time, yes.
Wow, that's
So they're like, I have a concept of colors. That's what they'll tell me.
okay.
Like a concept of colors, a combination, a palette. Is that something that you can work with? And yes, of course, definitely. And then because I'm the type of artist, I'm an intuitive artist. Then they pay me for my intuition, for my
That's so-
creative intuition.
And do you give them the option to choose between, okay, sky or water? Or do you, I don't think you've seen any land paintings.
I have some, pero it's just not here. It's sold now. Maybe I can send you a photo, but it's it's always according to my or their interpretation. If it's something that I'm making just for the gallery or something, then I will interpret it as I go along. But for the client, for the commission client, then it's they see their own thing in it. Like once they receive
Wow.
it and they feel it, they're like, oh my god, this reminds me of the sky and the time I was flying or on top of a mountain and I was surrounded by clouds and
Oh my goodness.
blue
I mean,
everywhere.
Do you sit down and have a cup of coffee or tea with them before this? Because I mean, it's amazing that you're able to create something that resonates with them. So you must have some connection with them, or do you just, I don't know, you buy it?
I think it's my practice. I'm really blessed because before I start, like I said, I do my mindful meditation, but it's not just meditation. I intentionally put like blessings into the piece and intentionally remind the art, the materials, the canvas that this is meant to provide peace and calm in the household.
Wow.
And so it translates because that really helps. Energy is everything, right? So actually 100% of my clients have told me that they feel so calm, collected, and peaceful every time they enter the room with my piece in it.
Incredible. Wow, that is crazy incredible. And the first time I actually saw it, because I don't know if you've seen my photos, but yeah, it's the ocean and the sea has always been a part of my life, and I feel like everyone can also benefit from the powers of nature. And now moving on to Badass Mama, what inspired you to start that? Because I see a lot of amazing quotes, but how did that all start? Is it when you became a mom or when you realized, yeah, I can do this on my own?
No, that was a pandemic baby actually. Yeah,
very
so
new.
yeah, very new. It's just a couple of months in, but that was something I did intuitively, like parang in between sleep and waking up in theta state.
Okay.
And I was doing it in bed, in my pajamas. I wasn't fully awake yet, nothing. I
Yeah.
just had the thought na, okay, start an account called Badass Mama, and where you can help like bring motivation out into the world to people who will relate to you, because I get messages on my personal Facebook and Instagram all the time from moms,
Oh,
from strangers
okay.
asking me for advice.
Wow.
You know,
What
so
was the most heavy advice you've been asked for? Like, what was the most difficult question you've had to answer from a mom?
somebody, well, it started with this question. Grabe talaga the universe. Somebody asked me, how are you able to do it all, be a single mom without a yaya, and do everything that you're doing, and even have fun pa, go out pa, and not lose your sanity?
Your voice and the way you fix it. That's what I
Everything.
was wondering myself because yeah, when I last spoke to you, you were saying, oh, you're needing help. You were needing help at home because there's no one to watch over Luna. And
Yeah,
at that
yeah.
time, you were working at a fitness studio, so having
Yes.
to pay for bills, be a full time mom, and I I don't know how you do it. You must have
Yeah.
another you somewhere, twin.
People think I teleport talaga. Like, people think I teleport. But
Oh,
it's really just, you're able to do so much if you take a step back and just go back to your breath. If you do things stressed, and if you're like constantly panicking and having anxiety attacks, you spend so much energy doing that, just being panicky, to the point that you won't be able to do anything now. If you're able to really calm yourself, calm your shit, and just step back, you're able to accomplish more. So my time management skills are on point when it comes to balancing every single thing that I do. And because yeah, so that was the first question, like, how are you happy? How are you raising such a happy, sweet kid?
yeah.
And again, my answer was, it's because I meditate. Because I'm able to do things happily and gratefully. And I wouldn't have been able to do this like several years ago when I was like an angry person. So many more questions popped up, and even like people I would meet outside and network with started asking me for advice. Maybe
Wow.
nga because they physically see how I'm able to balance things. Yeah.
These moms know that they're not alone. There's a whole community of moms that are struggling as well.
I
And so,
know, yeah.
maybe if they know that they're not alone, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, we're all in this together. We
Yeah,
can
I
do
mean,
it.
yesterday alone, I got flooded with messages on my personal and Badass Mama of late women and men, just not even, they weren't all asking for advice, but they were just sharing that they were feeling hopeless, they were feeling sad.
Yeah.
So I had to repost a specific video to answer all of it, but I
Wow.
answered all of their messages also. And it's insane, like the collective energy. Maybe it's the retrograde or something.
You should have a call center where it's like,
I
if
know.
somebody's breaking down, only for emergencies, call 181 Niña Defensor.
I know.
Mama
Maybe
at
you
your
can do
service.
that.
Hot mama at your service.
Oh my god. No,
I
that's
feel like,
why I had to start the account to address it as a collective, because I felt overwhelmed when people started like just sending me questions or seeking advice, because
at
I
least
was like, why,
strangers.
yeah, why
Or,
are you sending me, like,
yeah.
why are you asking me, like, why are you going to me for advice? All I do is just post my life. But I think there's something that I don't see that people see. Like,
Being a very strong woman.
my, like, Luna, if she's thirsty, she'll grab herself a drink from the fridge, and when she's done, she'll put it in the sink.
At
She
4 years
fixes her
old.
bed.
Oh
Yeah.
my
She
goodness.
fixes her bed. Sometimes she'll just sit down on the mat and meditate by herself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like every parent is hoping for the same thing for their kids. I read something from your post on Badass Mama.
Of
It's
course.
yeah, it's law of attraction is real, but you can't just sit in neutral and expect your dreams to come to
Yeah.
you. And a lot of people are not so great, especially at this time. The pandemic will bring out a lot of mental issues. How can we practice? How can we practice 5 mindful activities at home that's realistic? So you mentioned working out is one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's also a thing because you mentioned the pandemic now, the good thing about this is this has been also like a mental health pandemic, right? But this has been like the most widely spread and shared collective awakening also. Like, as many skeptics there's also like a booming amount of awakened people because of this pandemic, because we do sit with ourselves alone at home. A lot of people are just by themselves, right? And have to turn to something. With the law of attraction, it's not woo woo like people say. It's not hippie shit. It's not magic. It's exactly what you said. It's physics, it's energy, it's science. So when you are trying to manifest something by law of attraction, meditation, or manifestation, your thoughts and your emotions control your reality. Everything that surrounds you physically, your home, your friends, the people in your life, the animals in your life, is a direct proportion of how you are internally. You are your environment. You are your friends. You are your job. That is a direct manifestation of what you are. Like, you manifest the partner that at a certain time in your life because you're feeling that way also at a certain time of your life. When it comes to practicing mindfulness and meditation at home, there's this thing called a mindful immersion, where when you're feeling stressed and just weary and worried, you take something that's super normal and mundane for you and you change the way you do it. Like, everybody brushes their teeth, right? Try brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. It will bring you back to the present. It will make you more alert and more focused because you're using your hand that's not used to brushing your teeth. So therefore, you have to pay attention to do how you do it. Or driving to work or driving to your boyfriend or girlfriend's place, take a different street going there. Take a different route. It instantly makes you alert and relieves you of any stress that you may have been feeling.
I like
And
that. I like that idea.
yeah, and it's very magical because it's instantaneous, but it's purely human and science and physics. Energy talaga. Yeah.
Or even how about fixing your couch, changing the pillowcases?
Yeah, as
Just to
in
give it a
changing
different-
up your anything, Marie Kondoing your house, moving your furniture around to diversify, to change the energy inside your space. Even just lying down and doing your body scans, everything. You can do the 5 senses technique that I mentioned earlier as well. 5 senses technique is thinking each of your senses and feeling and making them do what they do.
So how do you start? So your touch.
So
your
yeah,
smell?
so you can start with touch. Like, you touch anything, your body, anything in your environment, and you just feel grateful for it. You look at everything in your house, outside your window, and you just analyze and focus and let the thoughts come in when judge nothing. Just allow them to come in, judge nothing, and instantly you're not thinking of your problem. And that's one way to just bring you back to center every single time. It works.
So so that sounds amazing. So I think it's so touch and then visuals and then your
Mhm.
smell. How do you adjust that with with the senses of smell. The sense of smell. How do
When
you?
you focus on each sense, you heighten it.
Okay.
When you focus it and you pair it with breathing, even if you're not cooking anything, you're able to just hyper focus your senses on whatever you set intention to.
Right.
And another thing is, don't forget to set your daily intentions. Like I mentioned this in my recent video, it's not a goal. Like, not at all. It's not like saying I'm gonna make or I'm gonna sell something at this X amount pesos today. It's like saying, okay, today I'm going to be fearless. No matter what anybody tells me, no matter what comes my way, I'm just gonna go for it in general, in all ways and in general. Or no, today I am kindness. I embody kindness, therefore I am kindness.
I love that.
So,
And
yeah,
you will
so
attract that as well.
yeah. And
You
it
are
also
perfect.
helps you not take things personally. So when you practice detachment, that's when everything miracles just come knocking on your door because you're not obsessing,
Yeah.
So
I know. I would love. I can't even believe that it's almost been an hour, and
what
as much as
really?
as much as I would like to stay a bit longer, I know, right? I feel like there are so many things we haven't tackled. What would Niña Defensor tell her 18-year-old self? And I want to know if that would be the same as what would you tell Luna's 18-year-old self?
Mhm.
This is going to be very personal.
No, it's totally fine. It's to forget about being perfect. Let go of perfectionism. There is no such thing. And to fail as many times as you can. Don't fear failure because
Was
with
this for
failure,
yourself or
for the both of us, it's
okay?
something that I constantly remind myself, and it's something I tell her every single day before class starts. Like, make mistakes. It's okay to fail because you will always learn from your failure. If you focus more on the value, the lesson that failure provided you with, as opposed to the pain, the anguish, then you throw the experience away. But I collect these failures like gems, man. As in, if I listened to my fifth no, I wouldn't have been able to leave my 9 to 5 job and do whatever the heck I wanted. If I listened to my 100th no, I wouldn't be able to be a cosmetic tattoo artist, an abstract artist, and still a marketer and a mindfulness coach. If I listen to people saying you can only do one thing. If I listened to all the no's that I've ever received, I wouldn't be able to do anything.
Right,
You know,
right.
I'd
And this
be
all
so miserable.
but this all goes back to your intuitive artwork where it's like, okay, if you dropped or you spilled paint, it's not a mistake. It's where you're meant to go. So I think like in life, if people or if you make mistakes, if I make mistakes, it's either a learning curve or something that's not even it's meant to happen and it's meant
Yeah.
to bring you to a
It
greater
all goes back to like your intention to be mindful, because we're all born with innate gifts, right? We're all born with an inner light and everything. And as we grow older, we learn so many things that by the time that we're old, we realize that we would probably have been happier if we had allowed ourselves to unlearn a lot of things. It's so ironic, diba? But a child is so pure of heart and just so authentic and genuine, right? Because of society, because of technology, we consume so much unfiltered media that it influences the way we act, the way we work, and the way we communicate. And with mindfulness, it just grounds us to listen to our intuition because it knows how to be kind to ourselves. It knows what we're capable of.
okay, a little bit of a wrinkle here now, which wasn't there before.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. It's creating so much anxiety for people because they get so used to putting these filters on every single day. that
Right.
when they actually see themselves from their raw camera, they feel bad, and that's so unhealthy for your soul, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love all the advices you gave. Actually, I learned quite a lot as well. So the next time I feed my dog, which is something I do every day, that it's so hard to feed him because he wants to be fed with my hand, and I feel
Uh,
like, oh my god, I could be doing something else. But so while I'm feeding him with my hand, making him subo, I feel like, okay, this is my mindful activity of the day. It was such a pleasure to see you again,
thanks,
and I
girl.
I feel
Thanks
like
for
we're both
having
going.
me.
Thank you for making time. I
Of
know we exceeded
course.
30 minutes, but I feel like it
Oh
was,
no, it's okay.
we really had to get everything out there. That's not even everything.
I can't believe it's been an hour. I can't believe it.
I have a list here and I didn't even, I think I only tackled two and a half,
Oh my
so
god.
it's
Well, thanks for
fine.
having me.
Alright, regards to Luna, and I'll
Yes.
see you soon. Thanks, Niña.
Thank
Bye
you. Have a good day.
bye.